What's up, Backyard Bass fans? All right, we're here down at the Knoxville show, the East Tennessee Fishing Expo. I am here with Moccasin Lures. We're going to go over a few of his baits. I know I tell you guys all the time, why I throw them, and why I like them, and everything else. But let's get it straight from the horse's mouth here. He'll explain what his lures are and how he designed, or not necessarily how he designed, but what design he does that really helps you guys out with these lures and what makes them different. So, hand it over to Isaac. See what he's got here.
The first one that I'll show you guys, and I know a lot of you have already seen this one. It's a very popular bait. We just released it at ICAST in July. It's our bedhead. It's a stand-up, shaky head style bait. And I was thinking spawn when I designed this. It's got that loud rattle in it, and you can rig different baits on there. We put a mustad. It's a 5/0. Most shaky heads have like a 4/0, so it's a little bit smaller, but that longer shank on that hook gives you more versatility. It's got a spring, it's actually a hitchhiker on the head. I don't like them when they cast them into the heads because you're always poking your finger, or you'll go to move them and they'll get that metal fatigue right at the head and they'll break off. So what we did, we put a ring in ours and got that pivoting screw lock. So it's a lot easier rigging. You don't got your finger down in there close to it. And I'll show you, you can rig your standard worms with it, but you can also rig craws with it, and you can see that this is just a young Christie crawl. You can see where that hook's coming back into that crawl. You got plenty of hook there to get a good hook set. So you can run creatures on here, a bunch of different baits.
Yeah, a little bit more versatile than most of the rest of them.
More versatile, yeah. And I'll show you something else with that pivoting screw lock is when it pivots right there. So when they bite down on that, it opens up that whole gap. So you've got a lot more of that gap to hit them versus when they're casted in. Sometimes your hookup ratios will get a little bit off because they'll blow off.
Yeah, you're almost losing about a quarter of an inch.
Right.
Okay.
And we have these in a 1/4 ounce. We also have them in a 3/8 ounce in green or black.
Right.
And the next hand I'll show you, and this is probably everybody's favorite.
I can tell you, it's one of my favorites.
Yeah, everybody loves the swim jig. But what we did different on our swim jig, a lot of the swim jigs have a bullet style head, and there's a 30-degree line tie in here. And when you're coming over timber, they like to roll because they're fighting to get back towards that line tie, so they'll roll coming over timber. So what we did with ours, we put all the weight in the bottom of that head. We put a big flat bottom on that head so that when it's coming over that timber, it doesn't roll. And something else that I like to do, not a ton of people do it, I like to slow roll them. And with that big flat bottom, just screep them. You can feel them just bouncing.
So it's just bouncing over the rocks and everything else.
Right, just bouncing over the rocks, exactly. We went with a 4/0 heavy wire mustad hook. I went with a 4/0. Some swim jigs have a 5/0, but we designed it for timber, so I wanted to keep that bait nice and compact.
Compact, right.
Yeah, little compact. We're very careful when we build our molds to keep our weed guards down on our hook points. You don't want a weed guard way up here. It's going to cause you a lot of problems. So we got it way down on that hook point. We went with a 1/8, but this is a fine fiber, so it's a very light fiber because when they hit a swim jig, you really don't get to feel them.
No, it's more of a loading up.
Your rod just loads up on them. So with that being said, you want that softer weed guard because a lot of times you'll hook them in the sides because they'll swipe at it. So that softer weed guard is key. We put the 3D eyes, we put the flake in them. It's a nice finish on it, but those are the design features which are much more important than paint.
Right,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. That's, like I said, that's one of my favorites there.
Yeah.
Like you were explaining on the weed guard, that thing's just limber enough to get a good hook set. You don't have to worry about that fish, hooking onto it and not loading up real good. I mean, it's good hook set every time.
It's got enough rigidity there to keep you out of trouble when you get around that timber, but you're not gonna miss bites on that for sure. And we have these in a 1/4 and a 3/8 ounce. And we have 4 colors in it. We don't go wild with colors. We offer about 4 colors per bait. You really don't need a whole lot more than that, in my opinion, because you can do a lot with your trailers, dyes. There's a lot of different things you can do to add highlights and colors.
Right.
And the next bait, and I'm a big finesse jig guy. I love finesse jigs.
And you guys know I'm not a huge finesse guy, but this is definitely one that I do throw. So especially in the winter. Wintertime is a great time, for your finesse jigs and stuff like that. So this is something where I will actually go to that finesse side. So
absolutely, they're great, and a lot of southern guys don't mess with finesse jigs, but they're great in the wintertime, like you say.
Yep.
But also when that bite, you get those dog days are coming, and that bite just kind of drops off, and the bite just dries up. Yeah. A finesse jig is excellent that time of year. And what we did with ours, the first thing we did, we put a 3/0 Mustad heavy in it, and those Mustads there. It's a good strong hook, and it is a heavy wire, but the diameters aren't so thick on the Mustads that they'll flex on you. Because on a lot of finesse jigs with those lighter wires, I've caught bigger fish, and they'll flex open, and you'll pop them off.
Right.
So with that stronger hook, you know, it'll keep those fish pinned. And on these jigs, I like to run about 10 to 12 pound fluoro. So what we did, and I love a finesse jig, but the major problem that I see with a lot of them is the weed guards are way too stiff. They run the same weed guard like we do in a football jig. And when you're fishing that 10 to 12 pound line, you're not laying into them.
You can't
like
lay
that.
into them in a popular line.
You'll pop your line. So what we did, we used an oddball size. This is a 7/64, so it's a weird size, but it's a fine fiber as well. And it's a lot softer than your standard jig. But this jig, and a lot of people, you know, they feel a softer weed guard on this finesse jig, and they think, well, that will hang up more. But that's not the case, because this is every bit as weedless as our big flipping jig.
Well, not to mention, it's a lighter lure, so it's not going to be digging into the brush. So that weed guard plenty for it.
Right. It's not going to be digging into the brush, but the other thing is it's so compact that it doesn't get in there and hang up as bad. You know, you don't got a big 5/0 hanging back here, hanging stuff. You know, it's a lot smaller, and like you said, a lot lighter. And the drag is a lot less on this. And the head design that we went with, it's kind of a cross. And I don't know how well you guys can see this, but it's kind of a cross between a shaky head and a flipping jig. We rounded all the way in the head to the center of that head. It's a stand-up style head. We also recessed that eye to give it a nice streamlined profile. I'm big on streamlined jigs.
Oh, absolutely.
When you start jig fishing, the first thing I learned is you feel for those catch points.
Yep.
And a lot of times you can feel where that jig's going to hang up, you know, before you even take it out on the water. So I'm big on streamlined profiles. Something else we do with ours is we use a different material on these finesse jigs. It's the same thickness, and you guys can't feel it, but you felt it.
Right.
The standard material, it's a lot heavier.
Yeah, this is a really fine material.
It's a fine material. It's the same thickness, but it's a finer cut. It's not frog hair, for you guys that know what frog hair is, because frog hair will kind of wad up on you. So it's not frog hair, but it's kind of in between standard and frog hair. So you get that extra action, but you don't get that wadding on that bait. But this is a great bait. I throw it, like I said, on 10 to 12 pound line, and I also drop my rod to about a medium. That's just my personal preference. You know, I'm sure a lot of guys, and it really depends on the rod, because you know how different rods differ between brands and whatnot, but I like about a medium. But it's a great little bait in those really tough times, or when you're fishing really pressured water.
Yep.
You know, when you're fishing behind guys that have just been beating the lake to death, you can go behind a lot of southern guys throwing the big stuff and throw the finesse jig, and you'll be wearing them out.
Yep. Especially guys, if you guys fish in tournaments, you know, that's a great presentation to go with there. You know, if you got your guys that are throwing them 1/2 ounce and 3/4 ounce jigs and stuff like that, and they got the real fast fall to them, you come behind them with a finesse jig, it's something different they haven't seen in a while, especially during the summertime. You know, they're used to seeing the finesse in the winter and the slower months, but not in the summertime. So just that difference in fall will make a huge difference in whether or not you're getting bit. So
absolutely. And this jig, you know, it's a 5/16, but when you drop that line size, it's almost like the jig. It acts like a heavier jig.
Heavier jig, yeah.
Because there's less drag. It's a lighter line, and I'll fish this 5/16 from 2 to 20 feet. Even dealing with a little bit of current, so they're
pretty good though.
Yeah, they're a very versatile jig. They're a very versatile jig, but a lot of southern guys have not gotten into these.
Right.
But it's a great jig to throw. It's also a great jig to get started on, because if you look at the overall profile difference between that big flipping jig and that finesse jig, it's huge.
Pretty big difference. Yeah.
It's a huge difference. And so if you're kind of learning how to jig fish, you're actually better off starting out with this finesse jig, in my opinion, because you're going to get more bites and get more confidence built up in that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, guys. Well, you got to hear it straight from here. So, you know, now you guys see a little bit more of what Moccasin Lures does down here, and you know, he's very enthusiastic on what he does down here. It's well worth, you know, going and checking him out. Like I said, I throw all of his stuff. Really love every bit of it. Never have any issues. The quality is just unmatched, I can tell you guys. So if you guys get a chance, like I said, I'll leave everything down in the description. I'll put all the links down there, so you guys make sure you go check them out. There is still a discount code down there. It's always in the description. If you don't see it down there, it's BYB, capital letters, 81, and it gets you 20% off in one order. Like I said, the bed heads, guys, I've been down here all weekend, and I'm telling you, those things have sold out. They are quick. So if you guys want those, you have to order them online. There's no wait right now, right?
No.
So he's got them in stock down there. He just don't have any more here. So you guys make sure you go down there, get a couple of those on order, get you some jigs and stuff. You guys will not be disappointed, I promise you.
Absolutely.
So
we appreciate you guys.
Isaac, I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
We'll see you guys again next time.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you.